No, us talking about him since him cackling in the background. And we have
Come on with it, baby!
Hello, and thank you for tuning into the first edition of the Third Imaginable Podcast, formerly known as the Buffalo Basement Podcast, here only on the Do Champions Media Network. I am Pat Bruckness. You can find me on Twitter at Pat_Bruckness. We're here with the host of the Third Imaginable Podcast, Matt Zeigert. You can find him on Twitter at Matt Zeigert. And we're also here with Student Body Right. You can find him on Twitter at Student Body Right. Fellas, before we get into the sponsorships, how you guys doing tonight?
Not too bad, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got a great show planned. You guys are at Ilios. Does it get much better than tonight?
No. We got some wings going. We got a shrimp cocktail coming. Blue cheese. Hamburger Brewing.
let's do this, Pat. Who's sponsoring these fine three lads here?
Yes. First of all, Ilio DiPaolo's, they have the greatest Italian food in Western New York. If you don't believe me, check it out for yourself. They are located at 3785 South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York, 14219. And also Sons of Erie. This is where you can get all your Do Champions merchandise. They have some great paintings and other merchandise on there as well, like the hats that Matt and Student are both wearing, the hoodie that I have on, the hoodie that Matt has on, and much more. You can check them out at www.sonsoferie.com. And also Hamburg Brewing. Make sure to go to the tap room for all your favorite drinks. They're located at 6553 Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York, 14075. Or you can check out their website at www.hamburgbrewing.com. And also Beauty Pools. Their experienced designers and expert craftsmen will create whatever design you want. And their website is www.beautypools.com.
Come on with it, baby.
Yeah, come on with
it, baby. That was
Come
good
on
stuff,
with
Pat. So we got a
Thank
schedule.
you.
We got a schedule.
Yes.
We know where we're going to be and where we're going to be at. First takes. We were right about little, but right about a lot. So, what'd you successfully nail, Matt?
I got nothing right. So
Hang on. My mic was on. I couldn't hear you. What'd you get right?
I got nothing on that right.
Oh.
Okay. Let's go back to the draft though.
Oh, okay.
The schedule's like hit or miss. What did you get?
First of all, it was a lot of miss. What do you got?
I got the San Francisco 49ers game right in week 13, and that's it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I saw something actually pretty crazy. If I can bring it up really quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that Dan? His name. He's from Connecticut. It escapes me from ESPN. Dan, long time.
Orlovsky?
No, one of the old heads. Anyway, he was talking about if there's any correlation to Taylor Swift's Canadian tour schedule to when, if she's playing in Toronto, will we be playing the Bills? And it turns out she's playing in Toronto November 7th to November 19th on a long stand. And when do we play? When do we play the Chiefs?
Week 11, which is what date, Pat?
I believe that's November 15th.
When she's playing
In Toronto.
and she has a night off. Conspiracy? I don't know. Worth bringing up? I just did. So,
Well, she will be able to attend 14 Chiefs games this year.
well, yeah, because she has a G5 private jet that emits
Yeah.
more carbon. That emits more carbon than half of California.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're going to break down the schedule a little bit tonight. We're going to enjoy some wings here at Ilio DiPaolo's. Come out in Blaisdell, New York. If you guys are around, we got a decent crowd out here tonight. This is obviously you're going to be your pregame spot for those 4 o'clock games. This is going to be your postgame spot for the 1 o'clock game. So, hope to see you down here. If you want to come down here, I'll buy you a beer. And let's get into it, boys.
All right, perfect. So let me pull up week 1 through 4 first.
Yep.
So we got week 1 starting off, home opener, season opener this year. is the Cardinals are coming in, and that should be a 1 o'clock game. So
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you never think the Cardinals are going to be pegged against their their Las Vegas counterpart, just because the Vegas model is just so robust and you got so many people there. But putting them at 1 o'clock, that's a cross country flight. It'll be interesting. When it's the first of the year, you have to wonder what time they're going to get in. You think they're going to come in probably on a Friday just to get the bodies acclimated and stuff like that, get some treatment going. But yeah, that 1 o'clock game. That's a good. I don't want to say tune-up game, but it's an NFC game that really just doesn't have a ton of implications early. But if we're in a race, those things are going to matter. And how well we play early in the season about a team that we don't see very many times, hopefully that doesn't matter. But the big one is going to be week 2.
But real quick, I do want to touch on the last time Arizona was here.
8 years ago.
Aaron Williams returned one for the block kick for a touchdown.
Come on with it.
So, with that being said, yeah, absolutely. Next, the following week is going to be the big game. 4 days later, four nights later, we play the Dolphins Thursday Night Football. Very short week against the Dolphins. Yep. And that's going to be a big game early in the season. But the thing that I will say about that is it is in Miami and it's at night. So we heard on Twitter all week, ever since the schedule came out, Miami Dolphins fans, crying and things like that. That Josh Allen, they didn't want to put him in the 1 o'clock window to deal with the heat or anything like that. But let's be serious about that for a second. I mean, it comes down to it, and it was 122 degrees 2 years ago on the sideline.
Go ahead, keep going. I have a lot of thoughts.
And I know you're against weather and things like that, but when it turns around and the Dolphins have a shaded sideline and the Bills are complete, that's nothing that because just when they come to Buffalo, we have to provide the same thing that we have on our sideline to them, and it doesn't matter that 40-degree swing of weather is
completely agree. That is an excellent point. Completely agree.
Oh,
here's my thought, Pat, and then I'll let you jump in about the Dolphins game because obviously we're going to have a lot of opinions about this. Hey, sweetheart Dolphins fans, if you're truly on the same level as us, if your amnesia is seriously so robust that you forget all we've done to you, that you dropped the division last year, and you're truly on the same level, that's going to be a primetime game. Okay? So you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth that, you don't realize that, they're not going to give us, the competitive advantage of the heat. Well, that's a 1 p.m. game, and that's not going to be prime time. So if you're truly everything you say you are and you believe that with an earnest heart, then you have to accept that that's going to be a prime time game. So talking out of both sides of their mouth, not a lot of neurons being fired with their thought process, and that's kind of just where I stand with that.
Yeah, and I mean I'm in the same mind. I mean it comes down to it, and I'm glad this rivalry is kind of back, right? Like we had, when we were growing up, it was Marino and Kelly, Brian Cox against the Bills fans. So it's just a lot of fun to, have.
Thurman left for a season. That was heartbreaking.
Yep. Yeah.
But I think it's alive in Twitter discourse. If you look at it, Tua's 12-6 in the AFC East since he started the helm of starting quarterback. 6 of those losses are from Josh Allen. It's all good and well to drum it up on Twitter. This is a great time, for your fan base right now because everybody's so high on their team. But this is a rivalry that feels more in discourse than it does actually in substance.
Well, and let me put it this way also too, is up until Tua's, I think, second year, or maybe even third year, they weren't even competitive against the Bills. They truly weren't. The Bills came out in that 2020 game or 2021 game, and they needed that game to make the playoffs, and they couldn't.
Beat them.
It was 52-24 or
56-26. I saw it today, I believe.
Yeah,
there was a lot to a little.
Yeah, and I mean it just comes down to it, and it really is not a competitive thing, but it's Dolphins fans want to make it look more competitive because let's talk about this for a second. Josh Allen, his 2 losses to the Dolphins, One was a tipped pass to Isaiah McKenzie that should have been a touchdown. And then also Isaiah McKenzie, same thing as the Bills were driving for a field goal. It makes a boneheaded play and doesn't get out of bounds. Would have had about 12 seconds left for the Bills to, get into field goal range. The other loss that the Bills had, that Josh Allen had, was a dropped pass from Charles Clay in the end zone at the goal line that it goes right through his arms. I don't know how he doesn't catch that ball. Like literally, it's like he's fielding a punt. He's not saying punts are easy to field, but
no.
Like he's standing there wide open. He's like just waiting for the ball to fall to him. So if either I'm glad that we lost that game because that gave us the 9th overall pick and gave us Ed Oliver. But at the same time, let's be serious. Josh is what, 12-2 against the Dolphins?
11-2, I think. Yeah.
11-2 against the Dolphins.
For any Dolphins fans watching this, I apologize for Matt. He's probably just making a little too much sense for you guys right now, and we might lose some people. Maybe just for the next 2 minutes, shut your little baby or virgin ears. Okay.
And that's something I want to add to that.
Yeah.
The thing I want to add to that is I've never seen a fan base cry, say, "Oh well, we almost beat you guys with Skylar Thompson." Well, then last year, if it wasn't for a punt return, we would have beat you guys.
I have something to say about that. I have something real, a saying from when I was growing up, and it still holds true. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
And the Ilio DePaulo Beach Bocce tournament, which is going to be held at Soleil June 2nd. It's got my name on it. Come down. A bunch of players going to be June 2nd. It's Soleil, as you were saying.
No, but I mean it's true though. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. If you don't put the win on the board, it doesn't matter. It's you're 0-1 or 1-1 or whatever it comes down to. And the Bills have 11 of those in the win column compared to 2, where again, I'm sitting here saying almost with those other 2, they're losses. We can take those losses and run with them. It's fine.
No one cares about something you didn't do.
Right.
Or almost
exactly.
And it's just, in football, it's what have you done for me lately league. So on a week to week basis, it just matters what you do that week.
Right. And another thing I want to add is I saw. My bad. Go ahead. Okay.
No, go ahead.
I saw Dolphin fans saying, "Oh, who's going to cover Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and OBJ?" Okay, didn't we go through this last year? Who's going to cover Hill? Who's going to cover H.A.? Who's going to stop the run? Now OBJ. Do people forget we have Taron Johnson in the slot? Okay,
Matt
an
Milano
all-pro.
hopefully returns.
Milano, Terrell Bernard. I mean, really, Miami fans.
These are not quandaries of the universe.
Right.
These things will be figured out and have it almost what feels like an eternity.
And
we're all itching to play.
Yeah.
But the work's already started. You know what I mean? So,
And it comes down to it is there. From everything that we've seen, just other hires and things like that, the Bills seem to be switching to more man principles in the back end, like we talked about last week. And so you're going to have players, Rasul Douglas, Taron Johnson, Kaiir Elam, Christian Benford, who all has it more. That's more suited to their game. They had to learn zone coming out of it, and that's one of the reasons why Rasul Douglas didn't fare well in Philly when he was there. And then he goes to a more man-principled, 3-4 type defense in Green Bay and breaks out. So it comes down to it with their hire of Adai. I really truly think that Kaiir Elam is going to break out. You're going to have Christian Benford maybe step up a little bit more. You're going to have you could have 3 of the top 30 cornerbacks. You're going to have 3 of the top 3 of the top 30 cornerbacks in the NFL. You seriously could.
you're not off.
And that's not including Taron Johnson, who was the second team All-Pro last year. So, and then on top of that too, friend of the show and actually brand new show we brought on.
Yes.
You want to give me give me that?
Yeah, a brand new show coming out is going to be the Gambling Centric Show. It is going to be called Known to Blame, and everybody knows, and that's familiar. Anybody that puts a little money on games, you saw it so clearly saw the board so clearly. And Neffy, he's going to be the co-host of that with Drew Grelly. Brings up a great point. JA going to eat Poyer up.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I saw out there the narrative of like a Saran Neal, a Poyer revenge game. What are they avenging? And someone retorted to me, wasting their time in Buffalo.
Really?
So you went to Miami?
Yeah, what are you going to win in Miami?
Let's talk about that for a second.
You have two free agents.
Four-time AFC East champions. Or, I'm sorry, three-time AFC East champions right now. Right? Am I doing my math right?
We won last year, right?
Yes.
So we won the last 4 years.
After the Dolphins fell out, and came back to earth a little bit. So 4-time AFC East champion, been to the playoffs 6 of Josh Allen's 7 years, or 5 of 6, whatever it is.
And most importantly, when they got there, they've won some games. That's something that Miami can say.
Right, Jordan Poyer was there
2000.
7 of his 8 years here because he was there in 2017 when they brought him and Micah Hyde in. So I mean, what waste is it that they had that came to Buffalo? Seriously, I mean,
what revenge they have to enact on a city that loved him.
Right.
Even after his escapades of trying to find greener pastures, and that didn't work. This year, he's at the twilight of his career. And his counterpart as well, I was hoping we could bring up briefly.
Yeah.
Micah Hyde. Now you can drop on him. Everybody there?
Yeah. No, we're good. All right. Cool. So we just put it out on our Twitter. We just put it out on our Twitter page at Do Champions, the graphic of what Micah Hyde said, and it was if he was ready to call it, or if he was if he'd made a decision on calling it a career, and he said it's the Bills or retire, flat out Bills or retire. He doesn't want to play anywhere else. So if he does decide to come back, I mean that could be an awesome safety room at that point. I mean they just signed the kid out of Tampa Bay. And
D. Delaney. Yeah.
Yep, D. Delaney. You have D. Delaney. You have Micah. You bring back Micah Hyde. You have Mike Edwards. You have Taylor Rapp. Then you have I'm drawing a blank here.
Cole Bishop.
Cole Bishop.
Cole
Thank
Bishop.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. So I mean, you could have 4 really solid safeties there. So it just really.
I don't know. Call it a career, man. Call it a career.
If it's me, I'm calling it a career. Like I'm going, stepping away, taking care of my family, taking care of my neck, everything like that. But
life after football, man. It's, we were talking to Eric Wood about it. It's there's a lot of life to live, and while I think it was Aaron Williams who came on our show and was talking about 23 ain't always going to be on my shirt. Ironic, they both wore the same number. I think that's sage advice.
Yeah.
23 doesn't always have to be on a shirt. It was a great career. But it is a life after football, and I hope that neck it holds up and nothing ever bad, never for injury. And it's kind of where I'm at with that.
So
I would bring him on as a player coach, kind of like what we did with Josh Norman last year.
Lorenzo Alexander as well.
Yep. Kyle Williams a little bit.
Kind of Luke Kuechly.
But yeah, I mean, let's move on here to our
the next one.
Yep, here's our primetime schedule. So I mean, you got the next game would be Jacksonville. That's a 7:30 start. Week 3. For that one on Monday Night Football, part of the doubleheader for Monday Night Football. So I mean, it just really is a nice upfront schedule because you guys see the primetime games here. The Bills got 5 of them this year. That doesn't include any of the 4:25 games they also have. But I think I heard it today that they have like 6 1:00 games later on in the season. So that's gonna help fans out. Getting in and out of the stadium, and that's helping us out too for a place at the table. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun down here. It's going to be a lot of fun for the Bills. What do we think about Jacksonville after we saw their epic collapse that helped the Bills get into the playoffs last year?
Well, I personally, I think the verdict's still out on Trevor Lawrence if he's a top 10 quarterback, maybe top 7. And, I think, I know he played with a lot of injuries last year down the stretch as well. I wonder if that played a part into it.
I mean,
But we do play.
Jack, yeah, go ahead.
I say, yeah. I'm just glad we get to play them this year in Buffalo and not in London.
yeah, that London game last year kind of
It
hurt.
derailed everything.
That London real game really hurt, and they just seem to have our number a lot, and I do fear them. I fear how we play against them, how we match up against them. They're always what seems to be low-scoring games. But yeah, you brought up Trevor Lawrence. Being if he's a top 10 quarterback, that's not a great stat. I mean that means you're in the top 10 divided by 32, 31.25% of the NFL.
Yeah.
Not exactly what you're going to be writing home to mom about.
right.
So,
Right.
It's he top 10? I don't know. Is he servable? I don't know. Mitch Morris seems ecstatic to be there. But
Yeah, so does Gabe Davis with his best friend, Chad Hall, the former Bills wide receiver coach.
yeah, we really, we went crazy about Chad Hall leaving, and I didn't see it. So
Yeah.
moving on to that, we had Kevin Misseri comment right there. I think we missed it recently.
Yep, there we go.
Just like last year, if his next cleared, he should play. Can't always make $2 million like this. Yeah, but he's made money. All it takes is one to really significantly, alter the quality of your life, and that's what I'm fearful of. And that's the only thing I would comment on. That he's so young and I'm quite fearful that something bad could happen just with the whole subset of things that have happened. So, I do agree though. It's hard.
Yeah, how are you going to
hard pressed to find too many fields of work that are going to pay you as handsomely as a safety in Western New York. So.
Right. Absolutely. No, absolutely. And, moving on to week 4, another primetime game against the Baltimore Ravens. Very, very big game early on in the season. We have 4, I would say, pretty big games, because, Arizona might not be very good this year, but they're going to hang around in some games because they now have a healthy Kyler Murray. They're not, 10 weeks into the season and, making that long travel from Arizona to Buffalo, that gives them jet lag or anything like that. So we're getting them week 1, so they have Kyler Murray, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. That's going to be a very good. Zay Jones. They're going to have. That's going to be a very good connection for a long. I think for a long time.
Yeah.
So they put a lot of trust in Kyler Murray. So I think that's going to be, a tough game for the Bills starting out week 1. Week 2, like we said, is Miami. Week 3 is Jacksonville, and then week 4, Baltimore. I don't know. I mean, I think that's pretty maybe mini gauntlet-ish up front.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not mini gauntlet. That's a gauntlet.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet.
That is gauntlet. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. To go on that type of streak, that doesn't work in our favor. But those 3 are manageable.
There you go. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to. In Baltimore, they have now Derrick Henry. Still have Lamar Jackson. They have they lost OBJ, but they have Zay Flowers.
Mark Andrews.
I mean, and they're going to put a lot of carries on Derrick Henry, and I see a lot of trouble for teams deciphering who's going to actually run the ball, because they run a lot of read option there in Baltimore, and especially with Lamar Jackson, and he's really good at pulling the ball out and taking off. So if he sees Derrick Henry stopped, he can pull it out and go 70 yards the other way. So
yeah.
The Bills are gonna have to be very gap oriented that game. They're gonna have to be very disciplined that game against Lamar Jackson. And usually Sean McDermott teams played Lamar Jackson very, very well. Yes. Even the one game that we did lose to him, it was a very, very close game. So I think it was within 7 points or whatever, and the Bills were driving down the field to score. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember who picked it off, the Josh Allen throw, who picked it off, but that's how it ended. Is the Bills were driving down the field. So I still expect that to be a very close game. Whether the Bills come out on top or not, we'll go over our record predictions here in a little bit after we get through the schedule and everything like that. But at this point right now, I think I could see I could see the Bills being 2-2, 1-3 at this point if they're not careful. Sure. Not saying it's going to happen, but I could see that. I could see a world where that ends up happening.
I would trend somewhere around 2-2, 3-1 around here.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Something very vicious to our roster would have to happen if we're trending somewhere around 1-3. So, anyway, let's keep it moving.
Yep, absolutely. So, what do we got? Week 5 now here.
Yes.
Let me.
I am surprised.
Come on, Pat. What are you surprised with?
I'm surprised this is not a primetime game. Week 5 in Houston, a 1 p.m. kickoff. Josh Allen versus Stephon Diggs, which very quickly we have to know, Stu. We need that update. Did Stephon Diggs buy a house in Houston?
Ooh, let me check. Nope, he has not. Nope, check the
He has
MLS
not.
listings this morning. He has not bought a house in Houston. That tweet will go out as soon as at the conclusion of the show. Thank you. And by the way, that tweet, as always, is sponsored by Iliad Apollos. Pat, where is Iliad Apollos located in the Western New York region?
3785 South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York, 14219.
Very good. And yeah, it's just it's a fun gag. Somebody took me seriously, like they wanted to break down like Stephon Diggs' contract implications and why he wouldn't buy a house. No one gives a shit. Let student be student.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I had to send just to make it a little about me really quick. I had to send out my my yearly tweet that this is just a character. It's truly unbelievable that people think that I'm actually this unhinged in real life. But let student be student, okay? And that's all I'll say to keep it moving. So to move it back, Kate, longtime listener, longtime commenter, says that it's a little surprising that wasn't getting a primetime game. I think we just want to keep it moving. Okay, I think we just want to keep it moving.
Well,
with that.
and the thing is, I mean, I know Sal Capaccio and I think it was Matt Beauvais talked to Mike North, who is like
sounds like a porn star.
who's like one of the head schedule guys, and he was saying that they have to have inventory for earlier in the so it's not like because he agreed it should have been a primetime game, but they can't not have good games early on, in the day or anything like that. Because what are they gonna throw on? Two last place teams. No offense to Giants fans or anything like that, but
All offense to Giants fans.
I mean, losing Saquon Barkley, they still have Daniel Jones at the helm. You can't throw teams like that on it in the 1 o'clock spot and that be the only game on when you don't have another choice, especially with everything else out there, like with NFL Sunday Ticket. So, I mean,
yeah, and although I will say some of the narratives, like one of those with Diggs, you have to kind of think about when people are just increasingly tuning into Red Zone, that is just a great product. I don't personally imbibe in Red Zone that much just because the ADD is a little too much because I want to go back and watch plays and stuff like that. And it's a little too boom, boom, boom. But I don't know if Red Zone's the way of the future. But some of these narratives do help get people to watch terrestrial shows. But they do have to throw some to Amazon. They have that massive billions and billions contract.
Netflix just got 3 years in a row.
You get it. Exactly. You get it. So, there's a lot of different medians here that, do have to get a little bit of a pick, a little piece of the pecan pie. So, will we ever know why it's not Flex? No. But moving on.
Yep. Moving on. Week 6 is our next primetime game. That is a Monday night football game against the Jets, and that's in New York, correct, Pat?
Yes. Yes, that is in New Jersey.
So we play at the daunting MetLife Field like we talked about last week, and I'm not looking forward for the Bills to play that.
Let's just get out of that unscathed,
Yep.
please.
Yeah, I mean, take the loss if you have to. I mean, like I get it, but it's a division game. You're not going to go 6-0, and I'll stand on that myself. You're not going to go 6-0 in the division. So if
you go 6-0 in the division, you got a weak division, and they're not preparing you for what you're going to face in the playoffs.
And the only team that's really weak this year in the AFC East is the Patriots, and they may hang around in games just because of their defense. They now have what could be one of the best quarterbacks in the actual draft, in Drake May coming in.
Sure.
Yeah.
So all they really need is average QB play, and if they could have gotten that out of Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi last year, they could have knocked the Bills out of the playoffs. The second time.
When there's a conversation about bringing Cam Newton back, in lieu of Bailey Zappi and stuff like that, you just know that that wasn't going to be their year and stuff like that. That was almost like a Kyle Orton or Cardell Jones type of energy that you feel for the Patriots. But I agree with what your point. You're not going to go 6-0. If you go 6-0, you have very bad competition that's doing you no favors for the playoffs if that is your end goal. So.
Right. And I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers coming back. He's got to play on that field too, and he's coming off the Achilles. So I mean, in the first 6 weeks, now to break this down real quick, first 6 weeks you have 4 primetime games in the first 6 weeks. You have 1 primetime game left, and that's later on, and we'll get to that as we go over the rest of the schedule. But so from now on, we have 1 o'clock and 4:25 games. So, Pat, what is our next game in week 7?
Before you do that, Pat, take a stand. Do you like the 1 o'clocks or you like the 4 o'clocks?
Oh, I like the 4 o'clocks, man. That kind of means everybody's watching it.
Well, noon or 3 for you, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Noon and 3. Yeah. I prefer the noon games between noon and 3.
Certainly helps the network a little bit. So.
Right.
But what do we got, boys?
We have the Titans in week 7.
Yes.
Another year under his belt in Will Levis. Will Levis. They still have DeAndre Hopkins. They got Treylon Burks.
Calvin Ridley too.
They got Calvin Ridley. They did lose Derrick Henry, but I mean they do still have, we'll see with the new head coach how their defense is, because you always knew their defense was going to be tough with the Mike Vrabel defense. Coming from New England, that defense is always tough. So we'll definitely see how that ends up working out for Tennessee on them. But that's what time is that? Is that a 1 o'clock game, Pat?
Yes, that's a 1 o'clock kickoff.
And that's here in Buffalo, correct?
Correct.
All right, and then we go away is the next week in Seattle.
4:05 kickoff.
4:05 kickoff against Seattle Seahawks.
That's gonna be a good game.
That is going to be a good game. I mean, they have Geno Smith up there. They have DK Metcalf. They have JSN. They have Tyler Lockett. Yes, Tyler Lockett's getting a little bit older. I think he's 31 years old now.
Oh shit!
It feels like he's been in the league for 20 years. But
I know.
he's still
Joe Flacco has.
he's still a reliable receiver. Still has great hands. Might not be able to get down the field the way he used to, but still very, very good receiver. Definitely something that the Bills are going to have to watch out for in that game, especially trying to take away somebody like a DK Metcalf and a JSN in the slot. So, what are your feelings on that game, Pat?
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a good game. I'm looking at the running backs, Kenneth Walker and James Cook, 2 young running backs that could lead both teams in yards going into that game. And obviously, I give the edge to Josh Allen, which I know we'll get into that later. But it's gonna be loud, and to see both offenses go at it, it's gonna be fun.
For sure. And Student, what do you think about the Seahawks?
I don't know. For Seattle being such a wet region, you never see too many rain games over there. You ever realize that? I'm just thinking about that.
That is
now.
true.
For them, Pacific Northwest, kind of just being a haven for precipitation. You never see too many rain-soaked games. I'm actually, I was zoning out just like a little bit, and watching this Bandits box lacrosse game. That field looks nicer.
Yeah,
than the MetLife Stadium.
Yep. It really does. It definitely
That
does.
is crazy.
But we did get Tommy Giambro, one of our social media guys. He actually posted in the comments, so thank you, Tommy. Tyrod Taylor is the Jets' backup. So to go off of Neffy's little joke there, it is Tyrod Taylor, and
It might be Tyrod Taylor time.
definitely for sure. And
Neffy said take
with
the
it-
over on the Will Levis
Yep.
interceptions.
Yep, Neffy already giving us lines here, so I think
There
that
you go.
line will probably end up being set at 0.5, so a half an interception. So I would definitely take the over in that game.
What do you think the line is? I would say the Bills would probably open up there. What do you think? And the line is probably Bills minus 1.5.
For what game? The Seahawks.
Seattle.
I would say probably 2.5, minus 2.5.
3 points for
Yeah.
Seattle being at home. Sure. Sometimes they give them that extra half tick just for the noise.
Oh, 6.5.
element, stuff like that. 6.5.
Neffy
here.
says
Wow.
6 in it. Yeah.
Okay. That's our
Ooh.
resident gambling expert, Du Neffy. Check him out at @Du_Neffy. And be ready next Wednesday for their new gambling show. I'm excited for that one. I really am. If we can take a moment for that. We got two just really good guys.
Yeah.
And Dugrelli and Du
six-
Neffy coming on.
My bad. Not to,
Seattle
not
minus
to-
1.5. So I was right. Credit to me. But
Ring the bell.
all right, real quick. There we go. Oh, ring the bell. There we go. Anyway, students.
Oh, there's a little bit of a
probably
mess
should move
up.
on.
A little bit of a mess up. The 6.5 was for the Titans game
Got
against
it.
Seattle. Buffalo's a 1.5 point favorite.
Yep. So we're definitely good there, and as far as that goes, I mean it's basically like they're saying that they think that Seattle's going to win that game. Right? No. I'm sorry. They think Buffalo's going to be a minus 4.5, but because Seattle's at home, they're giving them the 3 points. So
3.5 to 5. Yes.
yeah, so they kind of get and we're definitely going to learn some more about the gambling space and things like that, especially with it being legal almost all across the United States now. So definitely check that out. We're going to have to figure out what time they're going to go on because we do have Coast to Coast on Wednesday nights at 9.
Sure.
So maybe we figure that out and we'll let everybody know on Twitter.
Actually, they'll be probably on Thursday night. Just recording on Wednesday. I apologize for that.
So with that
Keep that train moving, baby.
with that
Week
being
9.
said, we got week 9. Let me get
Halfway through.
that up here. So
It's
bear
a
with me
one-
one
it's
second
a
here.
1 o'clock kickoff against the Miami Dolphins. We get to play them at home. Bills Mafia loves 1 o'clock kickoffs. Now we get to see Miami at 1 o'clock.
This network loves 1 o'clock kickoffs, and now that we're in the second half of the season, you'd like to think that our guy on the graphic here, Vaughn Miller, he's gonna be in tip top, hopefully.
Knock on wood. Where's some wood here?
Yeah.
I got you guys covered.
So with Von Miller, I said it last week. I have him over 10.5 sacks.
That is so many sacks.
I really do. I think he's gonna return to form. And I think he's on a mission this year, especially because he took basically a vet minimum deal, to stay with the Bills when they were going through all those cuts this year. And Brandon Bean was on a mission to get the salary cap right, or get that ship righted for the with the salary cap this year. So it's definitely something that he's betting on himself. And I think every Bills fan will trade getting his entire contract that he's owed for if he hits all of his incentives. I think it's like over 15.5 sacks, and
Yep.
the Bills win the Super Bowl. He's going to get every bit of that $18.5 million, and I think the Bills, you might have some fans out there. Like friend of the show, Greg Thompson, who might be a little upset about the salary cap implications, but I think he'll trade it for a Super Bowl. So,
For sure.
With that being said, let's keep it moving here. We got the Colts next, and that's a 1 o'clock game.
Hey, real quick, we got Dennis Apollo right here. Oh, come on camera real quick. Dennis, proprietor of Iliad Apollos, as well as his son here, Iliad Apollo. 30 years for the sauce and business. Come check them out at their Soleil Sandbar. It's a great venue to just get in there, make some friends, friendly staff. The food is palatable, it's light, and I guarantee if you stick around there, I've had many days where I've walked in there at noon just for one, and I've stayed till 5 just because of a musical act. They're robust forms of entertainment with cornhole, building blocks, and after 5-6 p.m. they got the fires going. It really gives you, if you don't have the lakefront property, it makes you feel like you're at the lake and lakefront property. It's just a very unique event space that Dennis, it's truly awesome.
It's awesome. Make sure to just take a nice stroll down the Beauty Pool beach path.
Oh, yeah.
To our beach bar. It's a beautiful night.
Oh, absolutely. And that is sage advice coming from the big guy, Dennis DePaulo. And thank you for always having us here in Blaisdell, New York, Ilya DePaulo's Ringside Lounge. Pat, where is that located again?
3785 Park Ave, South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York, 14219.
If you're looking to send a postcard.
Yeah, at some point, Pat will have that memorized. I mean, it's
Yes, at some point.
There's a reason I did that is because I've been the guy's best friend for 20 years and I still don't know the address. I'm pretty sure I put this location as my mortgage application.
might not be wanting to say that on air, but I mean, we only have a
I
few.
know my house is paid off. I don't give a fuck.
But no, with that being said, we got the Colts next. They are week 10, and that's what 1:00 game in Indianapolis, correct?
Ooh, that's
Correct.
got some attitude in it. Ooh, that's got some attitude. Ooh, we got to take a
You are
sip
correct.
there. Yeah, that Colts game. It's going to be interesting.
Anthony Richardson coming back. You got Jonathan Taylor.
I thought a really cool stat about the Colts: more AFC East titles than the Jets. Pat, you know that?
Yes, I did.
And people forget, that I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah.
People forget. People don't care. If people forget, people just don't care.
Right.
There used to be 5 teams in the AFC East, and they do indeed have more titles than the New York Jets. So,
Student, the New Jersey
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah. There is only truly one team in New York.
One-
That's the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Which
we got to get off that now. Downstate is basically paying for this new stadium. We should show them a little bit of respect. So
yeah, but I mean, we paid for the Yankee Stadium up here too, so I mean, it's kind of works, hand in hand there.
which,
So
I don't know if you've been to the Yankee Stadium, the new one. Have you been to it?
no,
Have you been to Citi Field? Citi Field's better than Yankee Stadium. I'll accept no comments.
Ooh.
This conversation is now muted. Moving on from the Colts, I don't want to spend too much time there because we got to keep it moving here. Patrick
Week
Mahomes,
11.
which we Patrick
Yes,
Mahomes
week
coming
11.
to town. Taylor Swift coming to town. Jason Kelsey
Yay,
coming to
more
town.
Taylor Swift.
Travis Kelsey.
No, Jason will be drinking
Well,
beers here.
yeah, that
Don't
too.
get it twisted.
That too.
Maybe
He'll probably
Jason
have his
Kelsey
shirt.
finally booked
He'll
some
probably
food.
have his shirt off again and hopping out of the club seats there. So
Yeah, I don't know. Now that he signed that network deal, I don't know. Maybe that was in a caveat in his contract that, hey, nipples at least got to have tassels on them if you're going to take the shirt. So that would be a good one. We touched on it a little bit. That little conspiracy theory about Taylor Swift's tour. Will she be in Toronto that week to make it a little easier, make it a little bit more, kind of a spectacle. I don't think we need any more pageantry or bravado to build up this robust, rivalry.
right.
It's been at a fever pitch for years.
And it is. It's one of my favorite rivalries for the
And I
Bills.
acknowledge it. It's not a one-way rivalry
Right.
like the Dolphins is.
Yeah.
The only people that think we have a rivalry with the Dolphins,
It's Dolphins fans.
Yeah.
hear Patrick Mahomes and be like, "Yeah, we got a rivalry with the Bills."
Right.
They bring it. They bring the wood, and that's cool. Mutual respect is very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Mutual respect is one of the best things you can hear. Especially when he was talking on one of the podcasts that he was on about,
It was Logan Paul's.
Yeah, Logan
Yeah,
Paul's
Logan
with
Paul's,
the snowballs being thrown at him as he's trying to sign, Chiefs fans, stuff.
Giving a towel or
Giving him a
something,
towel,
yeah.
Yeah, the middle
And-
fingers.
Yeah, I mean that kind of brings me back to the '90s with Brian Cox, running off the field, giving the fans the finger. So,
Can't do that without getting fined this year.
no, absolutely not. But that's going to be a 4:25 game on CBS. CBS did not want to give that up. I would imagine, absolutely. Josh Allen is what 3-0 in the last 3 games against the Chiefs in the regular season. He is 3-1 total against the Chiefs in the regular season. The Chiefs are 3-0 against the Bills in the playoffs. So it truly is not a lopsided rivalry there. So that definitely should be a good game. We'll definitely have to get them back here after they beat us this past January. In the playoffs, and hopefully we don't have to see them in the playoffs this year. But I expect
I don't see a world where we don't.
I expect to see
Yeah,
them.
We're gonna see them. We're gonna see them.
I expect to see them completely in
And I hope it's deep.
a divisional game again, or the AFC Championship game.
Please.
Yeah. Because it would be nice to finally get over that hump of the Kansas City Chiefs and head to the Super Bowl. That would be real nice. So, with that being said, Pat, what do we got? What's our next game in week 12?
Yeah, week 12 is our bye week. So then we're just gonna fast forward to week 13, December 1st.
What are we gonna do? You guys got any plans for that?
For what, the bye week?
Yeah.
Nothing on
We're
tap right
We're
now.
not doing a show that week.
Yeah, probably take the week off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go hard about this. It's hard to collectively create content all the time. I think the whole network will be off that week. That's coming down from managing partner Pat and as well as co-founders Matt and I. So if you're hearing it first from the network, you guys have that week off. So
There you go.
it's good to reset.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely still check our social media because those guys won't be off. But
I said, but
I'm just kidding. I'll probably end up doing a lot of the tweeting there from our new champions account. And
thank you for all the followers this week as
yeah,
well. So,
absolutely. And we will be announcing another winner of the Keon Coleman jersey because
where did that guy go?
I have no
What
idea.
is
Yeah.
the point of following us and everything like that? We're trying to give you free shit. Like,
He left us on red.
what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He left us on red.
Yep. I mean, we told him 24 hours to respond. He didn't respond, so we're gonna be drawing another one, and we'll message you out later tonight.
Yeah,
And-
well, you know what? Let's draw it. We'll draw it later at the later at the conclusion of the show. We'll treat it out because that's crazy. So
Yeah.
moving along.
Week
week 13. We got Go ahead, Pat.
Okay,
Pat.
yes, our last Sunday night is our last primetime game of the year. Sunday Night Football versus the San Francisco 49ers at home. It is a 8:20 kickoff.
That's going to be a fun one. Because you got, no matter what happens against the Chiefs, you win or lose, no matter what happens again, you're getting the week off for the Bills. Right. So they get a week to kind of have that mental health week off of themselves and gear up for the 49ers. Sean McDermott has one of the best records coming out of the bye. I think he's still undefeated, but he's kind of ran the gauntlet the past couple of years. So with that, it's kind of tough for me to see him winning again. But I personally have that as a win for the Bills, and that'll definitely be a good game either way for the Bills. They have a lot of weapons there. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, until things change, if he were to get traded or anything like that. But Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, Brock Purdy gets the ball out of his hand pretty quickly. George Kittle at tight end. They have a really good team there, and then their defense is always one of the top 5 in the league. So with Joey Bosa, they did lose Eric Armstead. He went to Jacksonville. I know the Bills were. We know the Bills were in a spot where they could have grabbed him, but he did choose Jacksonville. So definitely want to see what happens there. Definitely going to be a very, very good game there. And definitely well-deserved primetime game for the Bills and 49ers. It could truly be a preview of a Super Bowl matchup.
Yes, it could be. And
It
another
truly
thing,
could be.
Matt, is Leonard Floyd going up against his former team.
Yep. Leonard Floyd coming back to Buffalo. I know for 1 year he was with the Bills, but with that being said, once you're a Bill for life, and
Yes, sir.
It kind of works that way with fandom too. Once you're a Bills fan, you're always a Bills fan. So
does he get the same rights as T.O. got for being legend of the game for playing one season?
I don't know. T.O. was a little different because it was a different time. Bills hadn't made the playoffs. T.O.
You had to want to be here.
T.O. chose the Bills. He took a smaller deal to come to Buffalo, kind of reshape his image a little bit, and he played well here. I think he still is tied with Gabe Davis as the longest touchdown in Bills history at the 98 yards from Ryan Fitzpatrick against the Jacksonville Jaguars down in Jacksonville. So
Very cool.
With that being said, I let's continue moving forward here. Pat, we got let's see here. We got week 14 against the Rams in LA. That's a 425 game or 405 game?
425.
Okay. So the Bills go up against Matthew Stafford. No more Aaron Donald. One of the best defensive tackles I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Sure.
So it's a huge loss for the Los Angeles Rams there. So how do you feel that game is? I know we beat them the last couple of times we played them. The Bills, I think it was 2020 when we beat them when they had OBJ. And I think that was the year they won the Super Bowl, is it not?
I don't believe it is. No.
Or was it the following year?
It was the following year.
And I'm sorry,
Yeah,
OBJ was not there yet. I apologize. It was Jalen Ramsey that I was thinking of, not OBJ.
Okay.
So, going against Jalen Ramsey, former wide receiver Stephon Diggs in that 2020 matchup, got the best of him. I'm hoping, somebody steps up in our wide receiver room. Jalen Ramsey is now in a Dolphins jersey, but they still do have, good players on their back end. So with that being said, I really do expect that personally. I expect that to be a win personally for the Bills. But then we got week 15. I was hoping that we would get the Thanksgiving game, but against Detroit, but we get another year off where we don't play on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That's probably that's kind of going to be a cool game because, like I was talking about last week, they are the darling of now, playing the darling of yesteryear, being the Bills. And I was watching some Dan Campbell stuff today. He's a hard guy not to like, and I think there's so much synergy between the two regions of, probably like the one most eastern city, almost giving out just in terms of culturally. Kind of like a Midwest vibe, playing a resurging town in Detroit. I just like the narratives off the field, and it's hard to hate the Lions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Dolphins, the Lions have a really good team. Jared Goff just signed his new 4-year extension.
Really good field.
Yeah, real good field up there at Ford Field. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jamison Williams,
Brown.
St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Sam
the unfortunately the best tight end coming out of the draft last year, which was out of nowhere, but in Sam Laporta. But I mean, I still take Dalton Kincaid's his rookie season because he had one of the better seasons for a tight end himself. So in a history of the NFL. So I mean, the Bills still got a good one in Dalton Kincaid, and he's only going to grow himself. So I expect him, like I said last week, to have one of the have the most targets on the team. And even Brandon Bean said it today on one of the podcasts he was on with Chris Long today. That he expects him and Dawson Knox to be a very, very big focal point of the offense. So, because tight ends and running backs can catch the ball too.
Yes, they can, especially in the Joe Brady offense.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a prolific element too. If you do have reliable people, excuse me, reliable people that play at such a dynamic body type that can catch the ball, that is fantastic. So next game, moving into a little bit of a stretch here, boys.
Yeah, December 22nd, week 16. We're home against the New England Patriots for a 1 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, I mean that should definitely be we'll find out. We'll find out where the Patriots are at that point of the year. I mean, so I don't know, man. It just comes down to it as I expect that to be a win. but we're gonna get our first time to see Drake May in a Patriots jersey. They don't have a lot of weapons left up there.
But
Well,
it matters.
But
But,
yeah,
but the game matters. It's a divisional game.
Right.
Like I said, like Matt said before, it's hard to go 6-0. So by no means is it a week off. By no means is it a get healthy
And-
game. It is. Let's set the tone for where we hope to be getting into the playoffs.
and division games are division games. So
Right.
you know, you kind of got to throw everything else out of the window. So you know, unfortunately, that's what it comes down. That's what it comes down to is throwing everything else out of the window, and you know, you got to just play the team that's in front of you, and that team is the New England Patriots, and you gotta play. You can't play down to your competition. Like you know, that's the one thing that I've noticed with, you know, I don't want to say it all together, but I've noticed it with you know, Sean McDermott teams is for whatever reason they play down to the competition. You know, they end up pulling those games out, but like just like what was it last year against the Patriots when they lost, Josh Allen first play of the game, the first throw of the game, throws an interception, and they were behind the sticks the entire time, and then they couldn't stop Mac Jones, who had never had a true long distance game winning drive. So it you know, and if they have average type quarterback play that's better than Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi from last year, like we were talking about earlier, it could be a different story, and I don't want to see the Bills have that happen to them.
Sure. Yep. And then right.
Yeah,
right
I
as we
agree.
spin right off that. Yeah. Right as we spin right off that. No, we're good, Angela. Thank you so much. Right as we spin right off that, we are back with another in succession AFC East game with the Jets. So
Yes, week
that's
17, 1 p.m. kickoff.
That's a streak that I thought was going to happen. We were going to have a back-to-back interdivisional type of weeks. That's going to be a crucial week because if you suffer a loss. Well, yeah, there's 3 people. If you suffer a loss early, that is enhanced pressure from everybody in that organization as well as out to be like, hey, don't go on a bad burner.
Yeah.
Don't go on a bad burner.
That's why
These games are important.
That's why I would have rather played the Jets early on in the season at home in week 6 because of that field. Then you could have, you know, you have them come here. You always play better at home against, for whatever reason, you play better at home against the Jets, and you know, it comes down to it, and you could have gotten at least one of the wins out of the way early against the division team, but it just seems like, you know, those 3 weeks there between, because you know, I'll give it now. I mean, everybody knows what it is, but week 18 you have the Patriots. These 3 weeks, Patriots, Jets, Patriots. It almost feels like that Patriots game could almost be like a trap game. As much as I don't believe in trap games, they kind of do somewhat happen.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of cheap categorizations when it comes to a trap game. I don't think anybody in that building is going to believe it's a trap game. They just know that they have to maintain an enhanced amount of focus with this streak of 3 divisional games right in a row. So, and to the next, we're speaking about this AFC East a lot, and this is our burner. We come back on the 3rd one, and we do see the Boston Patriots once again. So,
With Boston Pat on their helmet, I don't know.
Pat Patriot.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, the final week of the season, I expect the Bills to be resting their starters at that point. Hopefully, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it last year. They had to win that game to get into the playoffs. I mean, technically, they would have made the playoffs because of the Jacksonville loss to Tennessee last year. But it comes down to it is they need to have a good enough record going into that game to not have to worry about it. I mean, would I like to see them have to play the starters to go for the AFC crown in the conference? Sure, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I'd rather see them have the division locked up and potentially the number 2 or 3 seed, and rest the starters rather than have to worry about it. Why does Josh Allen have to play in the final week of the season?
No, and I'm right there with you. You know, if we have just lock up the division, sit everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because look what
No,
happened this last game of the year. He got hurt. We were out. You know, we didn't have him though the rest of the playoffs.
Right, exactly.
So-
And I know that Deontay Hardy return that kick, and it really didn't come to. It did come down to Josh Allen, and had he gotten hurt earlier in that game or anything like that, you might not have that 13-yard run where he basically ends the game for the Bills there. So with that being said, that's all 18 weeks. We have those same pictures that we showed on the stream tonight on Twitter. They will be also going up on the website as soon as that launches as well. And then along with a lot of our merchandise and everything like that we're going to have as well. Sons of Erie, Do Champions, everything like that. So definitely check that stuff out as well. Real quick, Pat.
10-7.
What is your record prediction after we've gone through everything there?
I'm gonna go with the 12-5.
Yeah, I'm of the same mind. I see 5 losses for the Bills along the way. But I do see them being the 2 seed in the AFC. I expect either Baltimore or Kansas City to be the 1 seed. So we'll definitely see. I mean, the Bills, they do have, new offensive weapons kind of all the way down, minus Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir and James Cook. They have now Curtis Samuel. They have Keon Coleman. They have Mac Hollins. They have Chase Claypool. They have they just signed Marquez Scantling the other day, and
I love that signing.
I do too. I think I personally am of the mind. I think that the Bills would have ended up taking Troy Franklin in the 4th round had he been sitting there, but I'm not Brandon Beane. I'm not in that room, so I don't know 100%. But I think that getting a player, and that was a comp that I personally had was Troy Franklin is very much like an MVS. So I mean, we'll definitely see how that works out for the Bills. It seems like the way that his contract was structured, that he's probably going to be wide receiver 4 or 5 for the Bills this year. So it really comes down to how many players the Bills want to keep on their roster, and over the coming weeks we will have our way too early roster prediction here. As we're getting into the the lull time of content creation for the Bills. So with that being said,
Very quick one more thing. We didn't get students. Record prediction.
I screamed 10-7.
he said 10-7.
Oh, okay.
So.
No further questions.
So we'll see who's right. We have that up on our Twitter page as well.
Yep.
At Do Champions, everybody, our social media team, ours and everything, all the predictions of what we think the record's going to be. We'll definitely see if that comes to fruition for any one of us. With that being said, I just real quickly want to thank everybody who was viewing tonight.
Everybody came out.
Everybody that came out here tonight. All our sponsors between Iliad Apollo's at 3785 South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York 14219. Sons of Erie, Beauty,
www.sonsoferie.com, Beauty Pools,
and Hamburg Brewing.
Yeah. Hey guys. Hey Pat. You know what I'm gonna say.
Yes, sir.
Good to be
Good to be seen.
Good to be seeing, guys. And until next week at 8 o'clock, we will see you next week.